I believe there's one huge mistake a lot of beginner and intermediate disc golfers are making that's taking away a lot of their distance. And if they correct that mistake, they'll be able to get more and more distance on their drives. What's up, guys? JK Disc Golf here, and today I'm going to hopefully be correcting one of the biggest mistakes I see in beginner and intermediate disc golfers when they're starting to learn about max distance. They're improving, their form is getting better, they're getting more consistency on drives, and they're understanding the fundamentals of disc golf. So if you're looking for a form change or anything along those lines, this is not going to be the video for you, because this is kind of the after effect. We're kind of learning out your form, but there's one thing you can change where it's not going to mess up your whole vibe. That one thing is super easy to correct, and it's what got me from throwing from 350 feet to now over 450 feet. It's one easy mistake that it's so easy to correct that I don't know why more people don't just take it into consideration. And that tip is disc selection. In my eyes, the most popular distance driver that I see a lot of people throwing is destroyers. And that's okay if you have a big arm and you're looking for a more overstable disc, but for a lot of these beginner and intermediate players, you're cutting off so much distance for yourself because it's just fading, it's way too overstable, and you're not getting full flights out of it. So instead of throwing destroyers, you take a step down and you start bagging wraiths. Just that minor switch from throwing a destroyer to a wraith right there can guarantee you upwards to 25 to 50 feet in distance. And I can tell you that honestly because I'm someone who actually went through this experience. I was someone who out the box saw Paul McBeth throwing star destroyers, and I said, that's the disc I need. And so many beginning disc golfers do that because you see the pros throw these awesome overstable discs and you think that you can translate it into your game. And I'm sorry to say, but that really isn't the case. So instead of me bagging destroyers, I switched to a Discmania DDX. It's a 12-speed, it's got a lot more turn. So the ability for me to throw a more understable disc was letting me throw upwards to more of 100 feet. Just that minor switch. And honestly, if you're looking for a selection right there, there's so many understable discs you can try from so many different brands. Personally, I switched to the DDX. Another great one is the Wraith. And if you're looking for another underrated one, the Emperor is the perfect solution in my eyes. And guys, if you don't believe me, I will show you right now in the field, because this doesn't just apply to beginner players or people starting out. It literally applies to me right now. I can throw all three of these discs and they will see me getting different distance on all of them. All right, we'll start off with what I think is the most popular distance driver in a lot of intermediate player bags, and that's a destroyer. But honestly, don't just think it's only destroyers. There's so many more of discs just like destroyers where I can think of the Zeus, the DD3, all of those overstable distance drivers fill into this category. And I'm pretty sure you guys know what those are. As you can tell, very little turn, a lot of fade. Next, we'll take a speed down and more turn, and we'll go to wraiths. A little bit more distance, but a lot more turn and no fade. And lastly, we'll go to an Emperor. As you can tell, that fit right between the Wraith and the Destroyer, had more turn, had less fade. As you can tell, Destroyer over here, Emperor up here, and Wraith over here. We'll do this one more time, except this time we'll add a little bit of numbers. We'll go with the Emperor. Then we'll go Destroyer. Lastly, we'll go Wraith. First throw, the brand new Destroyer, 405 feet, give or take, or 406, give or take 16 feet. Now the Emperor, 460 feet. There you go. And then the Wraith was in line just a little bit more to the right. It's easy to throw more understable discs, so just keep that in mind next time you're throwing. If you're really not seeing a lot of turn out of your max distance driver, make sure we're throwing something that will give you that full flight out of a disc, because that's the way you're going to reach that next level of distance. Trust me, from someone who's literally learned this from personal experience. And it just makes you a better disc golfer, and it lets you evolve. It lets you come to the point where you can throw these more fast speed drivers. Or if you can't, you're still going to be throwing these drivers even farther than you would ever before. This is not only the biggest mistake I see a lot of beginner and intermediate disc golfers doing, but it's the easiest to fix. All you have to do is throw more understable plastic. It's that simple. It's not a big form change. It's not doing other things like nose down. It's literally just switching the disc you throw, and I guarantee that you'll be able to get more distance if you're throwing 2 overstable discs. And the same thing goes for 2 understable discs. If you're finding a disc that you're kind of just throwing and it's fading, or it's just turning and burning every single time, take a step up. Then you'll be able to get not only turn, but it to fade back. And also, guys, I'd like to clarify something too. If you're throwing other discs, make sure you're figuring it out too. As you maybe saw when I was throwing, sometimes I would put more hyzer on a disc or less hyzer on a disc based on the stability. But guys, it's such an easy fix. Make sure you're doing it, guys. It really is going to elevate your disc golf game to the next level. If you're going to take these tips into consideration, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the bell to get notifications on all the new videos, and as always, guys, make sure to keep throwing. Big thanks to everyone who's supported JK Disc Golf over on Patreon. You guys are the reason that this video is possible. If you want to help out JK Disc Golf even more, head over to www.patreon.com/JK Disc Golf or click the link in the description below.